America is loud, divided, anxious, and constantly arguing with itself. But beneath the noise is a deeper question, one that determines the future of the Republic. Is America still governable? Today on the show, we're going to break this down with history, data, political structure, culture, and the realities of modern governance. And by the end of this show today, you will have a clear picture of whether the United States is still capable of functioning as a unified nation. So let's get to work.
Let's go. Let's go. Welcome to America Unfiltered. Overseer Ron. I'm looking at a nation. No spin, no filter. Just the truth. I'm looking at a nation. Standing at a crossroads. People chasing dreams while carrying heavy loads. Prices going up, paychecks staying low. Everybody asking where the middle class go. Turn on the TV, hear the same old fight. Left versus right, every single night. But out in the streets where the real folks live, people need solutions, not another negative. Working 2 jobs just to make ends meet. Trying to put food on the family table to eat. Is the dream fading, or is it still alive? Yeah. America Unfiltered. Let's tell the truth tonight. Talking about what people need. Small town factories closing down.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of America Unfiltered. I'm your host, Overseer Ron. And on this day, as we do each and every show, we highlight some important events on this day that took place in our history on this day. And the day is the 13th of August. So on this day, in 1961, it was the construction of the Berlin Wall. The construction of the Berlin Wall. East German authorities sealed the border between East and West Berlin in the morning hours. On this day, in 1918, women entered the United States Marine Corps. Opha May Johnson was the first woman to enlist in the United States Marine Corps. Also on this day, Cuba leader Fidel Castro, it's his 100th birthday on today. He was born in 1926. So that's some important events that transpired on August the 13th. Now, let us get into today. We asked the question, our title today, is America still governable? Is America still governable? To ask whether America is governable, we must define the term. A nation is governable when its institutions function. Well, we do see our institutions still functioning. Whether its citizens accept legitimate authority, whether its political factions can compromise, whether its laws can be enforced, its cultural supports shared rules and norms. See, governability is not about perfection. It's about whether the system can still operate despite conflict. America has always had conflict. But the question today is whether the conflict has reached a level that breaks the system. Well, the conflict has reached the level. We always had conflict, always had wars. We've been through civil war, and we've been through Reconstruction, civil rights. Okay, we've been through everything. Been through a lot, But historically, America has been here before. Yes, we have. America has faced governability crisis before. The Great Depression, the Reconstruction, the Civil Wars, 1960s assassinations, Vietnam War. We've been through all of this. But each time, the country bent but did not break. Each time we look at what we've gone through, it bent, but it did not break. See, the difference today is that the conflict is continuously digital and nationalized. So historically, we've been here before. We bent but did not break. So let's look at the next segment. We're going to talk about the modern crisis of governability, the modern crisis. We do know the country is what they call hyper-polarized. Political identity has become personal identity. We keep talking about here on America Unfiltered. And I talked about it in several episodes before this one. How people are more in tune to a political party. And they're more loyal to a political party. Okay? Rather than being loyal and tied to what is right. So we're beholden to a party if they're right or wrong. And that's a problem. Polarized. Hyper-polarized. Okay? Compromise, we look at these parties, it's like it's treated as betrayal. We have here in America, people live in different realities. Even the facts are contested. People don't want to hear the facts. It depends on who you are, who the person is, and what political party they're a part of. The facts are contested. We don't want to hear the facts. We have our own ideologies. We don't want to hear the truth. And right now, narratives replace truth. Right here in America. So we're talking about our modern crisis now. We're not talking about the Reconstruction. We're not talking about Civil War. We're not talking about the civil rights. We're talking about what's happening right now in America. Institutional gridlock. Can't get nothing done. When you have a nation that cannot, and we have people that's been elected to go to Washington, D.C. to represent their constituents. And they go to D.C. and some of them represent their own interests. Some represent only the president's interests, if it's right or wrong. But the constituents get left behind, or left out, or overlooked. Their interests. Institutional gridlock. Congress struggles to pass major legislations. Institutional Gridlock. We can't get bills passed that will benefit the people. Institutional gridlock. We see gridlock taking place right now. Not only at the federal level, but at your local level. Gridlock. No compromise. And so in our modern day, the modern crisis of governability, we see there's a declining trust in government. A declining trust in government. Matter of fact, survey shows trust in federal institutions are near historic low. Why people don't trust the institutions? They don't trust the system. And when they don't trust the system, governing becomes harder. This is modern day, right now. People don't trust the system. I saw a report this morning. Sailors out there on the USS Abraham ship. The conditions are so horrible. I read where 6 had contemplated or tried to jump off the ship because the system, the conditions are so hard on the ship. Lack of food. People don't trust this government. If you send people to war and you send people, children, to war, at least the government can protect them and maintain and see about their well-being. Shouldn't be hunger out there on a ship. They don't trust the government. The government always do the right thing. And then another problem that we have in America today, cultural fragmentation, cultural problem. Different regions want different lifestyle, values, and priorities. And there's a difference. We call it liberal and conservative. Red state, blue state. Blue states, they support the Democrats. Red state majority support Republican. They divide. We talking about on the last episode, things that divide America. Politics divide America. So the country is divided. So we have a cultural problem. We have different lifestyles. We have different beliefs, depending on what region of the country you live in. Different priorities, right? Different priorities. Cultural fragmentation. So my next segment to this afternoon, is the federal government still functional? That's the question that we ask. Is it governable? Is the federal government today still functional? Congress still passes budgets, but often at the last minute. Government shutdown. No agreement between two parties. We have had government shutdown, and the people is the one that suffer. We don't ever see we rarely see major bipartisan legislation. Rarely see that in Congress. Gridlock. We talked about gridlock. It's structural. Gridlock. Okay. Looking at the presidency. Looking at what we face with now, we've seen more executive orders with this president. He signed executive orders of things that he has that's not even his jurisdiction. And what happens is that you have to go through the courts to undo what he done. So when he became president again, he signed a lot of illegal executive orders. And he lost practically by all of them in the courts once it reached the court. Okay, the government, the presidency, he governs through agencies more than Congress. But then we have the courts. We have our Supreme Court. It's more politicized now than I think ever before. It's more politically visible than ever before. And in the Supreme Court, I mean, they've been asked to settle disputes the legislature avoids. It still can function. It's still functioning. The courts are still functioning. How do you know? Because many challenges that this administration, many things they put before the court, 95% of them are struck down. So it lets you know that our institutional government is still functional. The federal government, we understand today, still functional, still governable. So let's move to our next segment. Now we're going to talk about the states, America's new power center. One of the most important trends is the rise of state-level governance. State increasingly act as cultural identity hubs, political battlegrounds, alternative power centers. We now see different economic models in different states, different educational standards in different states, different criminal justice approaches in different states. America is becoming a patchwork nation where governability depends on the state more than the federal government. So now next segment, the cultural question. Governability isn't just political, it's cultural. A nation is governable when the people share a common story, common identity, common future. Right now, America has competing stories. One sees America as a nation in decline. One sees America as a nation under attack. One sees America as a nation evolving. One sees America as a nation divided by elites and institutions. When a country cannot agree on what it is, it struggles to agree on how it should be governed. So, is America still governable? Here's my honest answer. America is governable, but only barely. The system still works, but it works under stress. The institutions still function, but they function with friction. The culture still holds, but it holds with tension. America is not ungovernable, but it's harder to govern than at any point since the 1960s. Yes, it is. So in my closing on today, America is still governable, but governability is not guaranteed. It requires trust, compromise, shared identity, and functioning institutions. The real question isn't, is America governable? Are Americans willing to be governed? because a nation is only as governable as its people. Allow it to be. And that is all for today. Until next time, you be well.
America, overseer Ron.